Is there any way you can, I'm not sure if you have this information sort of at your disposal based on some of the research we did before the show, Seeker, but do you have at least a few of the key points that really made it so pro-Russian and not necessarily a balanced peace plan?
Absolutely. I can pull that right out of the hat. So let's highlight a couple of those real eyebrow raising points that made everyone say, hang on, this is leaning heavily toward Moscow. First off, one of the headline items was that Ukraine would effectively have to cede some of its currently occupied territories to Russia. In other words, this wasn't just a ceasefire. It was, okay, let's recognize Russia's control over certain areas, which is a huge geopolitical win for Russia and a gut punch for Ukrainian sovereignty. Second, there was the NATO piece. The draft essentially said Ukraine would have to agree not to pursue NATO membership. That's been one of Putin's long-standing demands, keeping Ukraine out of the Western military alliance. So that point basically handed him a strategic victory on a silver platter. Third, there was that proposed cap on Ukraine's military size and capabilities. That's a long-term security handicap for Ukraine, making it much harder for them to defend themselves in the future. And from the European perspective, and honestly from any country's perspective, that's like institutionalizing a permanent vulnerability. So yeah, those are the big ticket items that made people look at the original draft and say, this is a bit of a lopsided deal. And that's exactly why you've seen so much pushback and the need for revisions in Geneva.
Now, one of the comments I read over the last 24, 48 hours is a few senators, maybe one of them specifically said, like, who actually wrote the original plan?